8 things you need to know if police pull you over. Have you ever wondered what you should do if police pull you over? You ever wondered what the police can do if they pull you over? If so, stay tuned because this is the video for you. My name is Lance Fryrear, and I'm the defender of justice.
Defender of justice. Defender of justice. Defender of justice.
And I don't normally look like this. I look like this because I'm a defense attorney. I have a law firm in Linwood, Washington. We've been defending people charged with crimes for more than 20 years. And I'm putting out these videos to help educate the public. So if you find this useful, please like and please subscribe. More people will get the help they need. So I'm just going to jump into it. 8 things you need to know if police pull you over. Well, the first thing you need to know is you need to try to pull over in a reasonable amount of time. If they pull you over and you drive and you drive and you look for just the right perfect place to pull over, you can get charged with other crimes. You can get charged with failure to obey a police officer. If you drive fast or reckless, you can get charged with felony eluding. Okay, and there's some pretty broad definitions that an officer can go for. So if the police are pulling you over, try to pull over in a safe area, but try to do so sooner rather than later. It doesn't need to be perfect. An officer's probably going to pull out behind you and try to protect you from any type of traffic. And if they're not happy with where you're pulling over, they're going to tell you where to pull over, usually on their speaker system. So play it safe. Try to pull over quickly. Don't panic. So that's number one. The second thing you need to know is that you need to listen to what the police officers say. Listen closely and try to only answer the questions asked. Oftentimes, the police officer is going to come up on the opposite side of your vehicle, depending if it's on an interstate. If it's a local road, they might come up on the driver's side of the vehicle. And you want to roll down the window just enough so you can hear. You don't need to roll it all the way down unless you're told to. And listen to the questions asked and try to answer them politely if you find that it's relevant to answer, right? Do you know you were speeding? I wasn't aware of it, officer. Have you been drinking? No, I haven't, might be the answer to that question. But you don't want to just start running your mouth and act really nervous and say a whole bunch of things that don't make a lot of sense, because the more you talk, the more they can use something against you. So the second thing to know is to listen to what the officer says and try to only answer the questions that you're asked. The third thing you have to realize that if you're the driver in a traffic stop, the officer has the right to order you out of the vehicle. Okay, they can control the movement and actions of the driver, but they're less allowed to control the passenger unless they have a reason to suspect criminal activity from the passenger. The passenger can get out and walk away. Okay, they can't obstruct or interfere. So if you're a passenger in the vehicle and you're not feeling comfortable, the current status of Washington case law, in our opinion, would allow the passengers to walk away. If now the officers try to stop you from walking away, you've got to obey what the officer's telling you, because you don't want to get charged with obstructing. But most officers are going to realize that if you've got nothing to do with the traffic stop, that they don't have the authority as the government to hold you there. Okay, so realize that the officer can control the driver and order you out for pretty much no reason, just because you're the driver and there's a traffic stop, but it's not quite the same for the passengers. I think the fourth thing you need to know is about searching the vehicle. An officer cannot just search your motor vehicle because they want to, right? They can ask for permission to search your motor vehicle, and they have to give something called Fryrear warnings if you agree. It's sort of a written document that says that you are being asked to search the vehicle, what the scope of the search is, what areas that they want to search. Is it just the passenger compartment? Is it just the trunk? That you have the right to refuse the search, and that you can limit the scope of the search or stop the search at any time after it started. And so they can't just go around searching your vehicle. If they choose to, don't go tackle them. I mean, this remedy if the cops and the police violate the law is a motion to suppress evidence later. It's not you getting yourself shot. Okay, so they don't have the right to automatically search the vehicle. If you tell them no, you don't want them to search the vehicle. If they think they have probable cause, they might be able to seize the vehicle and apply for a search warrant. And the reason why they could potentially seize it without a warrant is because it's mobile and therefore evidence destruction is more likely, okay? But they would still need to get approval of a court to search it. What if they arrest you out of the car? If they arrest you for a crime, they have a limited right to search incident to arrest to certain areas of the vehicle. This all changes over time, so I'm talking generally. This isn't legal advice, but I'm telling you things that you might want to know so you're able to protect yourself and your rights if you're pulled over by a police officer. So I'm counting, I think that's four things that you need to know if you're pulled over by the police. I think the fifth thing you need to know is about what if they do seize your vehicle? What if they take it? What happens next? How do you get it back, right? They took my vehicle. How do I get it back? Well, the first thing you need to do is probably contact an attorney and let that attorney know which jurisdiction seized it. Was it state patrol? Was it a city police officer? Was it a sheriff? Who took the vehicle? And then what was the reason why you think they took the vehicle, right? Because that's going to let us know how long they might hold on to it. There's no hard and fast rule how long they can have your vehicle, but if they have it too long and it becomes unreasonable, it's been a week or longer, then some pressure by a defense attorney to a police type person can more likely get your car returned to you. Now, if your car was used in a crime, it's got gun holes in it, or ran someone down, there's blood on it, you may never get it back because it's evidence. But they're just seizing it to search it for drugs or stolen property or something, then they don't just get to hold on to it forever, although that's not really a hard and fast rule. Now, another thing to think about, I'll call this 5.5, I suppose, is if they seize it with the intent to keep it, they should serve you with a notice of intent to forfeit the vehicle. If they think it's used in commission of a felony or used, bought with drug money, something like that, then they may try to forfeit it under the forfeiture statutes, and they have to serve you with a notice, and then you've got 45 days to request a hearing, and you better dang well get an attorney at that point if you want to have a chance to try to get your property back. I think the sixth thing you need to know if the officers pull you over is that sometimes they're pulling you over not for a reason that you think. Sometimes it can be searching for something else. An officer can pull you over if your vehicle is registered to somebody who has a suspended license, right? If you're driving your friend's car and your friend's car has a suspended license, a driver's license, since you're both males, they don't know who's driving it, so they can pull you over. So they might be pulling you over for a reason totally different than what you're worried about. Let's say you've got an open container, or you've got something you shouldn't have in the vehicle. This goes back to the other one. Don't just start talking. Listen to why they're pulling you over. They may just be checking to see if you're the person that they think you are, right? If your friend Bill, it's his car, he's got a suspended license, they may pull you over and say, hey, you're not Bill? Okay, see you later. So don't make an assumption about why an officer is pulling you over, because there's a lot of varied reasons. I think the seventh thing you need to know, if an officer pulls you over, let's say for a DUI, and you get arrested, they don't automatically tow your car anymore. It used to be that they would automatically tow your car, but nowadays there is some changes to the way the law works, where if you pull over in a safe place where the vehicle basically could be left, they need to give you the chance to leave it there. And they also need to give you a reasonable amount of time to have someone else come get the vehicle, especially if you're pulled over for a DUI. So, when you're pulling over, again, you want to do it quickly, but try to do somewhere that's safe where you might be able to left it there and save yourself a $400 tow bill. And also be thinking about, well, who might be able to come, get the vehicle so you don't get it towed. Finally, the eighth thing you need to realize is that if you're worried about the officer interaction when you get pulled over, while it can escalate the situation, you are allowed to record this interaction with the police. So especially if you're from a minority group that has traditionally where the officers could have a reputation for, we're more afraid, right? We know how things can go out there in the world. We see it on TV all the time. You are allowed to record the interaction because that's a public police officer, right? That's a public conversation. It's not private. We can't record private conversations without the other person's consent in Washington State, but public conversations we can. So if you choose to record, you could, hey, officer, no disrespect, but I'm going to record this for both of our safety, right? You don't have to announce your recording. Many times an officer will be recording, especially State Patrol themselves, so there's going to be some interaction. But if you're particularly worried, you are allowed to record, but realize that police are just people. Some police can take that the wrong way. So I want you to think about the situation, do what's right for you, but it is not illegal for you to record an interaction with the police officer. We still need to obey police officers' commands because they can charge us with obstruction and stuff like that, but they shouldn't command you to turn off the tape. And if they do, you got to make your own decision about what to do then. So those are 8 things you should know if you're pulled over by the police. There's way more to know, but these are some maybe common things I thought that most of the public might find useful. So if you found this useful, please like and please subscribe. And more people will get the information they need. And more importantly, if you have a criminal charge, if you're being investigated, if you got arrested, that type of thing, feel free to give my office a call. We've been defending people charged with crimes for more than 20 years. Hopefully we can listen to what happened. Hopefully we can identify a way forward. In any case, we'll do our very best to be there for you. Thank you.